Let's talk about another use case for the while loop. Let's say you want to ask the user to enter the grades they received on the classwork assignments. Now, if you know how many classwork assignments there are, we can write a while loop that runs that many times. So, for example, what I can do is I can come and I can say, here, let's say this while loop, we want to wrap it with the classwork assignments. So I can say, okay, I know that I have 10, for example. So I can say for count equal to 1, while count is less than or equal to 10. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say enter the grade for the classwork. Actually, you know what? I don't want to modify this code so that I can keep it for you. So let's do another one. So I'm going to start by saying system.out.println, enter the grade for the classwork. They're going to enter it. So I'm going to create a float. Classwork equal to k dot next float. And maybe I want to add them. So let's create a variable float classwork. Example, initialize it to 0, and I'm going to say classwork sum plus equal to the one that I just read. Okay, so this is a this is a while loop that will run 10 times, asking the student for their 10 classwork grade assignments, and then maybe at the end it will print out classwork total, and it will print out the total. Now, to test it, we really don't want to run this 10 times, so I'm just going to say 3. Let's just test it with 3. And if I run it, and the user, oops, I think I have a, okay, so let's close this. So now it's going to ask for the classwork. Let's say we got 10. Oops. Let's say we got 10 on the first one, 20 on the second one, and 20 on the third one. Did I not change it? Ooh, I have an infinite loop. Do you guys see that? What did I forget? Can you guys see what I forgot? Yep, I forgot to update my count. So let's stop this one and let's update it. So I forgot to update count. Update count. Try that again. I should only have it run 3 times. So 10 for the first, 20 for the second, 20 for the third. Okay, and so it tells me that the total is 50. So 10 plus 20 is 30, and 20 is 50. So if you know how many classwork assignments there are, or maybe how many items a person bought from the store, you can say, okay, enter the price of the first item, the second item, the third item. But what if I do not know how many items? So let's just write a comment for this. Ask user for the grades of 3 classwork assignments. So here I know that it's exactly 3. But what if I don't know that it's 3? What if I, do you know how many classwork assignments you're going to get this semester? At the end you're gonna have to go and count them. You don't know how many. So if I don't know how many, what I can do instead is agree with the user on something called a Sentinel value. And let me go to the slide and let's talk about Sentinel value. So a Sentinel value is basically a value that the program is waiting for, and that value is what is going to indicate to the program that it needs to stop reading, that the user is done entering values. So what we can do here is I can tell the user, so let's print some instructions for the user. I don't know how many grades they're going to enter, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to print a message and grade for the classwork, and then enter, let's say -100 when done. Negative 100 is not a valid grade, so I can use that to indicate that the user is done. So here, instead of counting, what I want to do is I want to read until I reach this 100. Now, where is my starting? I'm not counting. I don't have a count equal 1. I need to get a value from the user first. So my initialization, since I'm asking the user for a value to enter, I need to initialize a variable for that. So here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to say classwork. I'm going to go to the keyboard and get the next float. So my first value is going to come from the user. Now, when am I going to stop reading classwork grades? I'm going to stop when the user enters negative 100. So while this classwork variable does not equal negative 100, it means I'm going to keep asking them for more classwork grades. So here I'm going to get my initialization, my starting, coming from the user. The user will tell me what is the first grade. I'm going to make sure that this grade is not negative 100 because I will stop. The stopping point is when the user enters negative 100. Okay, so as long as they don't enter negative 100, I'm going to continue. As long as the grade is not negative 100, I'm going to continue. I already asked them. So this classwork grade that I already read in, I need to add first. So the first thing I need to do is add that grade to my sum. I am done. Now what I'm going to do is ask them again. I can ask them again or I can leave this out. So I'm going to show you with both ways. I'm going to here ask them again. And then when I ask them again, what am I missing? I have my starting, I have my stopping. Where's my update? There's no variable count plus to update. Where am I updating? What variable do I need to update? So always ask yourself, what is the variable that I'm initializing and I'm testing on? Where is my control variable? And this is how you will know what variable you need to update. Because I know this is sometimes confusing, but if you always ask yourself, where is my control variable? Where is the variable that I'm starting with? What is the variable I'm testing on? You will know that this is the variable that you need to update. How will I update the classwork grade? Well, I don't know what it is. The programmer doesn't know what it is. The user is the one that knows what it is. So I'm going to have to go to the user and read in the next value. And so the way the program will work, it'll ask for a value. It will make sure it's not negative 100. If it's not negative 100, it'll add it and ask for the next one. And then it's going to read the next value. And then it's going to loop and say, I read a value. Is it not negative 100? It's not. I'm going to add it and ask for the next value and read it in. And as long as this value that the user is typing in is not negative 100, it will keep going. So let's try that. So here I'll say 10, 20, 30, and then I'm going to say negative 100. And then it stops and it tells me that the classwork grade is 60. Okay, so this is a loop that runs until the user enters a specified value that we agreed upon with the user. It's called the Sentinel value. So on the next slide, there is an example of that. Here, we want to know how much a person spent. So we have an accumulator, a variable that's going to accumulate the total the user spent, and then we're telling them, enter how much you spent on each item, and when you're done, enter negative 1. So my initialization, I'm going to go and grab the first value the user spent, and then I'm going to immediately check. It's not negative 1. I'm going to add it, and then I'm going to do my update. Where is my update coming from? From the user. My initialization is coming from the user. My update is coming from the user. And at the end here, I'm using the %f that we learned before to format it. If I wanted to show only 2 digits after the decimal, I would put there a 0.2. Okay. So here's an example of how to use a Sentinel value. Now, in the next video, we'll talk about a different type of loop, which is called the do while loop.